Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and this is my video reviewing every single LEGO Ninjago Kai minifigure ever made from 2011 to 2022. This is my third video in this series. I already did one on Zane in 2020, and one on Jay in 2021, so if you want to watch either of those, I'll put a card in the top right corner, or they'll be linked in the description, and I'll be doing these videos for Cole, Lloyd, and Nia next. So let me know in the comments which of those ninja you'd like to see in every minifigure video on next. But without further ado, let's get started. Let's take a look at every single Kai minifigure ever made. So in this video, I'm mostly going to go in year released order. However, for a few figures, when they were for a previous season but got released in a later year, they might show up with the rest of the figures from that season just to make it all more consistent. But we'll worry about that when we get to it. For now, I'll start with 2011, also known as the pilot suits. And we have a total of 3 figures here. We have the original Kai suit, Kai DX, and then we have the microfigure Kai from the LEGO Games set. Original Kai is of course a classic, however in my opinion he's not one of the best ones. Classic suits, while they are very nostalgic, don't necessarily hold up the best. He's better than I guess Jay from the same line, but yeah, I guess overall this figure just seems a little bland, but that is sort of the point of it. It's just supposed to be a normal looking ninja suit. I really like that original symbol that he had with like the fiery dragon face. That genuinely looks so cool, and that will forever be the symbol I associate most with Kai. He of course had the same belt design that the rest of the ninja had, and you can see both original Kai and Kai DX used the classic ninja hood. The classic ninja hood I'm honestly a pretty big fan of. Newer ninja hoods might look better, but I really like how they have the clip around the back where you can attach a weapon, because like newer armor pieces have ways to hold katanas, but it's rare we have clips like this where it can just hold any weapon. And while it's fine for Kai for his just to be able to hold a katana, it's really cool that you can attach any weapon to his back here. Kai DX, though, is genuinely an incredible minifigure and holds up really well. This is one of the best looking DX suits, however, all 4 of them are really nice. I just love how the gold looks at the top of the red and it's printed metallically so it like shines in the light. The dragon design looks great, and I like how there's this fiery tail that continues onto the legs. And if we take the masks off the 2 of these, you can see the face prints underneath, which is just the original Kai face. The original Kai face, again, classic. However, this one is not very accurate to the show. The expression's pretty good, like Kai does actually make this expression in the show. But if you have figures from before the redesign, you know that the minifigure had the scar over the one eye, but that was never present in the show. And they actually kept that up for another like 6 years after this. So the scar is definitely not the most accurate, however I definitely think it looks cooler than a show design, so honestly I don't mind it too much. And then if we turn these 2 around, you can see there's no back printing on the original, but on Kai DX you can see he has that fire lion symbol that you saw on the front of normal Kai, and it has his name written underneath there. And then microfigure Kai is cute. He's exactly the same as the other microfigure ninja, but he looks good, represents what he needs to well, so I don't really have any complaints with him. Now moving into 2012, in Season 1 we have a total of 3 Kai minifigures released this year. We have Kendo Kai, Kai ZX, and Energy Kai. Kendo Kai, just like the rest of the Kendo suits, are not great. I really like the concept behind these suits, like an armored training outfit is really fun, and I actually did have a lot of fun playing with them as a kid. However, looking back, they're not the best looking. The design of the armor and the helmet is pretty good looking, however I think the gray is just ugly. You'll see when we get to the LEGO Ninjago movie, they did these in gunmetal gray, which looks a heck of a lot better. And I also don't like how they don't have any distinct features on their helmet or anything. They all just share the same white helmet. That's another thing they fixed with the movie, where they give them like their own unique colors on their helmets, and I think that is desperately needed here, because yeah, it's not great. And of course, underneath the armor, it's the original 2011 suit again, with absolutely nothing different about it. Kai ZX is obviously one of the most iconic Kai suits, because the ZX suits were the ones used in the majority of Season 1, and that's a suit line I'm super nostalgic for. However, looking back, I think some of them don't hold up the best. Like, it's still a good overall suit line, don't get me wrong, but some, like, compared to newer suits, are just not great. However, Kai, I think, holds up pretty darn well. Or more specifically, the torso upwards holds up really well. I really love the dark red armor with, like, the gold detailing at the top. That kind of seems before its time with, like, the dark red arms and everything. But it makes this Kai suit pop, it makes it feel distinct. And I like how the golden armor matches with his golden weapon and the gold crest on his mask. He looks fully armored up and ready to battle. My one criticism with this suit would be the leg printing. I feel like it's just a little bit boring. It cuts off really high up on the legs, kind of wish it went down a little bit further and there was more detail going on. But you do also have to remember, this is 2012, we didn't get too highly detailed minifigures at that time, so for 2012 this is pretty fantastic. There he is with his armor and mask removed, of course same face print, and then turning him around you can see his back torso print, where he still has that symbol from his original suit. Really glad they kept that there, and you can actually see it through the armor when the armor's on, and you also have a little bit more of that dark red armor. And there you go, there's how that looks even when the armor's on. And then finally, NRG Kai. The NRG minifigures are known as some of the best Ninjago minifigures of all time, which is pretty impressive that we have such amazing minifigures so early in Ninjago's lifespan. And yeah, Kai is no exception. This guy looks incredible. I love the fire crackling from the center of his torso. That's such a cool look. You can see his original symbols in there, but it's all burnt up. It's like in ashes. My one criticism is I kind of wish the fire went a little bit further. Like you could see it goes down to his legs a little bit and over to the side of his chest a little bit, but I feel like they could have done more, had more like printed flames, used less of the dark red and more of the orange. But that's a very minor thing, and it does still look fantastic overall. Really love the fiery design on the top of the mask, too. It's a nice way to represent the symbol in the original mask, while also showing, like, the fully elemental look of Kai. And then if we take the mask off, you can see the face print, where he's pretty much got the same design as his normal face, but obviously his eyes are orange and the scar on his face is like a gold. There's like fire rippling up one side of his cheek too. Oh yeah, and I guess that's important to mention, like a big part of this fire is actually metallic gold. That looks so cool. I love how that reflects in the light, and just makes this figure feel so high quality. Nothing too crazy in terms of detail, just fire crackling in the back, but this is easily the most detailed back print we've gotten so far, and one of the best looking ones. My one criticism of this guy is a criticism I have with all the NRG suits, and that's just that I wish he came with his armor. Red ZX armor would have looked awesome here, and it would have better represented like what this suit looks like in the show. However, you could easily customize him to put gold on and it wouldn't look bad because he does use gold on his design. Just would have been cool if they include the exclusive red, because we still haven't gotten that to this day. But that's a very minor thing. I think the figure still looks great without it, and still to this day is one of the best Kai minifigures. Now moving to 2013 Season 2, there was actually only one Kai minifigure released this year, because there was only one wave and it was very small. But we have Kimono Kai right here. I have modified this guy to put the armor on him to match his appearance in the show. However, if you're familiar with the 2013 sets, they actually did not come with their armor in those sets. But since this is the more accurate version, this is what I'm going to review. And I think this guy looks good. This might be Kai's best black and red suit. They tried the black and red again a few times later on, like with Deep Stone and Skybound and Movie. However, I don't think the black and red is inherently a great color combination, but when you add the gold like in this suit, it actually does look pretty nice. I still think some of the other ninja look better on the black suits than Kai does, but he's definitely not bad, and I do think the gold helps tie it all together. Obviously, the mask and the armor are reused from his ZX suit, but the new torso and legs here actually feel really elegant, and I love all the little bits of gold detailing. Here he is with the armor removed. That's also how he looks like out of the set without any modifications. You can see he's still using that same face print. He's going to be using this for a while. And then turning him around, there's his back torso print, where you can see once again he's got that original fire lion symbol, and you can see it's in a little circle right there so that the armor can like surround it. And there's how that looks. Yeah, I mean, definitely not one of my favorite Kai suits of all time, but I think it's solid and it holds up pretty well. Now moving to 2013 and Season 3 Ninjago Rebooted, there was actually only one Kai figure released that year, and that is the normal Rebooted Kai. However, the next year in 2015, we did get Stone Armor Kai, who did appear in Rebooted. He just didn't come in any Rebooted set, so he was released as an exclusive figure a little later. So even though this guy is technically chronologically later, I thought it would be good to review the two of them together, since they are from the same season. But yeah, original Rebooted Kai is a mixed bag. This was the first time we got Kai's hair physically, which is super cool to see. I remember when I was a kid, I used to use the Sleepyhead hairpiece for Kai, and that definitely did not look the best. This is much more representative of how his hair looked in the show. And for a LEGO hairpiece, it was actually pretty detailed compared to some of the other stuff they had out at the time. This was also the first suit to introduce the half mask, which are really cool, so the best looking ninja masks, and obviously very versatile. You can put those in any suit. And unlike a lot of the other Rebooted suits, I actually do really like Kai's Rebooted suit. The gold detailing in the torso looks nice, and I like the flames coming up the sides. But then he's got the same issue the rest of them have, which is no leg printing at all. This is the only ninja suit line to ever have no leg printing, and it really makes them stand out, but not in a good way. So yeah, that definitely makes this one of my least favorite Kai suits just because of that. But compared to some of the other Rebooted suits, this is one I like a lot. And I do like how it brought over some design elements from the kimono ropes, like these little buckles on the sides. It's still the same face print on him, so I'm not going to bother taking the mask off. But turning him around, you can see his back torso print, where he's still got that original line symbol, and I actually think that's a pretty good back torso print. Yeah, honestly, I do like the torso on this one. If it had some good leg printing, it would be an all-around pretty fine suit. But without leg printing, yeah, it really holds this guy back. And then Stone Armor Kai. This guy was released in a Target Cube, which many of you probably don't know what that was, but it was the exclusive minifigure set released in Target stores in 2014 and 2015, and it contained 4 minifigures with 4 different themes, and one of those themes was Ninjago. And I guess the designers took the opportunity to make an exclusive figure of Stone Armor Kai right here. As Stone Armor Kai looks good. The torso is pulled pretty much directly from the show. The silver detailing is actually pretty cool here. Kai in silver is actually a pretty cool look. We don't get it very often. Honestly, I'm looking at the other figures I have to review, and I mean, I'll point it out if I notice it, but yeah, I think this might be the only one that does it, except for maybe Hunted. So Silver for Kai is very different, and I like it a lot. It is weird that he uses gunmetal gray armor instead of silver armor, because the other stone armor figures use silver armor. However, that's very easy to swap out if you want. I'm just looking at the original version here. I also appreciate that even though he did not have leg printing in the show, they did include leg printing on the figure, I guess sort of fixing the mistakes of the original rebooted robes. So if you want to make this more accurate to the show, you could very easily replace that with legs that don't have printing, but they did add extra printing there to give you a more detailed minifigure, which I do actually really like. And then something completely surprising here, I believe this was the first time we ever got this, or no, I guess the Target Cube the previous year with Lloyd had this, but we got an all-new exclusive face for One of the Ninja, and you can see, yeah, this is a show-accurate face for Kai. This is the one and only original Kai face to not have the scar, and this is exactly how Kai looks in the show. This is also our first time we ever got a smiling Kai, which nowadays all the ninja have double-sided heads, but this was revolutionary back then. I remember being so excited for this, because finally we had another expression for One of the Ninja. And this face is nearly perfect and was almost like the best original Kai face, except for one small thing, and that's because for some reason I think every single version of this face is misprinted. I actually have 2 of this Target Cube and both of mine are misprinted, and every other one I've seen online are misprinted. And what do I mean by misprinted? You can see the face on him is just a little bit too high. Comparing it to the normal Kai face, you can see the eyes and eyebrows are up a lot higher. So with the hair on, he does look a little bit weird. It covers up a little bit too much of his eyes. And you can see, like, when you have the mask on, the eyes are so much closer to the mask here than they are here. And that's very disappointing that they took the effort to make this exclusive face, and then it wasn't printed perfectly pretty much universally. Which does really hurt this face. It was still great for the time, but we got other exclusive Kai faces later on, which we'll see, and I think in most people's collections, those sort of replaced this one. But yeah, overall, Rebooted was definitely one of the weakest lines of Kai suits. However, compared to some of the other Rebooted figures, these are some of my favorites, and I do genuinely really like Silver on Kai, and I would like to see it used more often. Now moving properly into 2015, there's a total of 4 suits this year, and here are the first 2. We have Tournament Kai and Jungle Kai. These are both from Tournament of Elements, and this is one of my favorite Kai suits and one of my least favorite Kai suits. Tournament Kai I think is great. All the tournament suits look amazing, but I think Kai and Jay especially are really good. This was the first time we got sleeveless arms for the ninja, and I think the yellow mixes with the red so well. I also think the half mask works a lot better here in this more like loose clothing design. And this is part of the reason why I don't like the rebooted robes that much, because this just does the entire concept so much better. And there's not too much unique to this guy compared to the other tournament suits, but I just love the black on top of the red and the red with the yellow and the half mask with the short sleeves. It all ties together to create like such a distinct look. And I think the designers did a fantastic job with Kai here. My one and only complaint with this guy is the chest printing on him is a little bit too light. Definitely not a huge deal, and it's something that's very common on LEGO nowadays. However, at the time, it was weird to see. And it's a shame, because it would look a lot better if that was printed well. But yeah, that doesn't really take away from the figure for me. He's still got that original Kai face, and then if we turn him around to the back, you can see he's got that original symbol still right there, printed in gold. Maybe not the best back torso print, but I think it looks good still. And yeah, just genuinely one of my favorite Kai suits of all time. And then Jungle Kai, I don't know, he just doesn't feel especially striking to me. The brown of the jungle suits was a really cool idea, and I think on the other 3 it maybe pops a lot better, but because that orangish brown is so similar to red anyway, to me, it almost seems to sort of blend in and make the suit not really pop at all. The belt also is just kind of generic and boring. The knee pads are a fun idea, but again, they just get sort of hidden because all the colors are so samey. I do like that the original symbol's at the front now, not on the back. And you can see actually he's got this newer symbol on his mask, which originally appeared on the back of his kimono suit, but it's been on every other suit since then. You can also see it on the chest right here. That's an interesting take to put that symbol on the mask right there. But yeah, these masks definitely worked better with like the ZX printing. So yeah, I don't know, I'm just sort of lukewarm on this one. Definitely not like a bad suit per se, but not particularly striking. And I think it's definitely one of my least favorites. Of course, still got that same face going on. And then turning him around, you can see there's that back torso print where you have more of that brown design. I guess that fits with the whole vibe of Tournament, but I don't know, I just like this one so much more. So when I'm like doing a tournament display or anything, I'm gonna stick with these guys. Now, still in 2015, we moved to Possession. And Possession had a total of 2 suits. We had Deep Stone and Airjitsu. The Deep Stone suit is good, as I said. I think I prefer kimono with the gold and everything. The red and black just don't seem particularly striking to me. I do like the Deep Stone suits as a whole and seeing them all lined up, but I think if memory serves correct, this one's definitely the weakest of all of them. They are all very samey though. I just think black and red's not as striking as some of the other color combinations. You do have a few bits of gold detailing though, which do look good. I wish those were maybe a little bit more vibrant. The black ZX armor was cool to see too. That was new for this wave. But yeah, especially compared to some of the other Deep Stone suits, this one's not my favorite. Oh, but the new mask is cool. I like the dual molding with the black and the red instead of like the star of the original ZX mask. But now moving to Airjitzu, you can see they're sort of going for the same vibe as NRG. However, I think they mostly failed here. Don't get me wrong, there is a lot of cool aspects about this figure. I like all the metallic printing on the torso with the fire popping out. Same thing going on in the back. I like the original symbol right there and all the fire surrounding it. And the face front on this guy's really good too, and maybe even better than NRG Kai. The printing just looks a lot sleeker, but he still has that like elemental fiery design. My issues with this guy come in the overall color scheme. I don't like just like the solid red arms with the black torso and legs. Black torso and legs I think is where they went wrong. I guess they were trying to make it match with the Deep Stone suits, but in doing so it sort of loses that elemental effect, because fire's just supposed to be so bright and striking. So having that on such a dark suit, I think they would have been better going off the full red torso and legs just like they did on NRG. And then the unprinted hood and unprinted arms and everything just feel kind of bland. If there was printing there, the figure would have looked a lot nicer, but as it stands, it just seems a little bit uninteresting unless you take the mask off. So yeah, while Possession was a great way for Ninjago minifigures on the whole, I think Kai definitely had some of the weaker ones introduced there. Now moving to 2016, there was only 2 Kai suits this year. We have his Skybound suit and his Day of the Departed suit. Kai's Skybound suit is really good, one of my favorites. Probably my number 3 after Jay and Zane. However, there is definitely a few areas where he's lacking. For one, this is pretty much just the Deep Stone suit with the torso and armor swapped out. The head, mask, and legs are all exactly the same. I do like the overall design of the torso. I do wish the Airjitzu Tornado on the torso, though, had metallic printing on it. Zane and Jay have metallic printing on that tornado, but the other 4 suits this wave don't, so I'm not sure why they don't. But it does create a weird sense of inconsistency, and it definitely would have made this Kai suit look a lot better if there was some, like, gold in there, or, like, some metallic red. It doesn't ruin it, though. It still looks good without it. And I appreciate that there is at least the gold armor there, because that definitely helps the entire, like, black and red design. And I do prefer this to his Deep Stone robes. Also, you may notice, I guess I swapped this head out for the Stone Armor Kai head. He did not come with his head stats, he just came with the normal one that the rest of the Kais have. I was just a very big fan of the Skybound suit, so I guess I put my favorite Kai face print on him. You can see this year they introduced an all-new armor scabbard piece, and it can hold 2 katanas going the same way. And I think this is one of the nicest looking sword holders they've ever had. I love the single shoulder pad and everything, and the 2 katanas at the back do look really cool. However, even if you remove that, you can see on the back of the torso there's that newer Kai symbol with wings. And it's actually one of my favorite back torso prints. This entire line, that is, not specifically Kai. But no, I do think Skybound Kai is good. There's just a few things that he could do better. And the Day of the Departed Kai was so exciting when I heard this one was coming out. Day of the Departed is old news nowadays, but when I was a kid, it was new suits that were a callback to the suits I grew up on. It's a combination of the original and the ZX suits. And unfortunately, while I think the concept is really cool, in execution I feel like they're only okay. Kai is one of the better looking ones, however he is very simple. You can see he's got his original symbol with the brown ropes just like he had in his first suit. However, the brown here has much thicker lines and pops a lot more. Same thing with the gold on his actual symbol, that's a little bit bigger too. Leg printing here is much better this time around. I like the little belts around the knees. Interesting bit of detail, but I think it looks nice. However, I really wish they brought over the dark red armor that was used on the ZX robe, because I feel like I don't see very much of the ZX here. The other Day of the Departed robes are much more of a combo, and these brown belts at the bottom do come from the original ZX robes. However, I feel like the armor is the more iconic part of that suit, so I wish that was there. But I guess they were trying to keep Kai more simple. Another thing is, I'm not a huge fan of the brown shoulder pads on this guy. Like, don't get me wrong, that's a really cool color for that part, but I feel like it just doesn't fit with his suit line. I wish they went with gold to more match what his ZX suit was. However, that's a very easy modification if you want to make that. I just wish it came like that out of the box. Mask, too, I just don't know if red and dark red is the best color combination, but it's certainly not awful. Taking the hood off, though, you can see once again he's still stuck with that original face from 2011. This will be the last suit to use this face. I guess he technically uses it a little bit in 2017, but this is the last suit to only use this face. And this actually holds this figure back because at this point every other ninja did have an all-new face that came in every set. Zane, Cole, Jay, and Lloyd all had like new face prints that were not their original face prints, so Kai's still sticking with the same one from 2011, not the best look. Luckily they do finally fix that next year, right before they redesign him. Here's how he looks with everything removed, though. And there's his back torso print where you can see he actually has like printed sword holders to match the design on his molded armor piece. So yeah, honestly, I like both these suits, but Kai seems to be getting the short end of the stick. So far, I don't think he's been my favorite of any of these suit lines. Maybe Kimono? But yeah, for the rest of them, like, he's good, but the other ninja in the same line do it better. But I know that is going to change later on, so let's move on to 2017. Moving to 2017, this of course was a big year for Ninjago minifigures because this was the year the LEGO Ninjago movie came out. However, we'll start with the two Kai figures released this year that were not for the LEGO Ninjago movie. We have Hands of Time Kai and Golden Kai. All the Hands of Time suits are really nice. I didn't like them at the time that they came out, but as time's gone on, I think they've actually aged really well. The overall dark red color scheme looks great. I actually think there's the inverse issue on this guy's hood. The normal red just looks way too bright here. I don't know what color would have been better, but yeah, I feel like that's definitely a little bit out of place with everything else. Still though, that torso and leg design is super detailed, one of the most detailed Kai minifigures we've ever gotten. I love the original symbol in the corner right there, and like the black belt and the orange trim and everything. This is such a well-designed figure. Not a huge fan of the black arms and black armor on them. Just feel like it doesn't really fit with the rest of the design. Not sure why it's like that. I think he would have been better off with dark red or even maybe bright red arms to maybe tie in a little bit more of that bright red. And then maybe like gunmetal gray armor or something. Because the black is definitely strange. It just feels so disjointed from the rest of the suit, which is a shame because the rest of the suit does look super good. However, suit aside, the most exciting part about this Kai figure is this is the first and only time we got a new Kai face print in a wide release set. Because if we take this hood off, you can see there's an all-new smiling Kai face. Unfortunately, it does still have the scar. It would have been cool if they removed that like they did on the Stone Armor Kai, but that's okay. I guess we just have to accept that original Kai faces are never going to be 100% accurate to the show. The expression, though, is really good. Doesn't necessarily fit Kai the best, but I'm just happy we have a wide-released Happy Kai face. And obviously, this is now our second option for a Happy Kai face, because you can also use the Happy Kai face from Stone Armor Kai, which is good to have options. Turning him around, though, for the first time ever, he also has an alternate face, and this is very similar to his original face print, but now he has these glowing orange eyes, and his scar is also glowing, and you can see the eyes are actually metallic gold, too. Yeah, another amazing expression. Both Kai and Nia got expressions like that this wave, and I wish we got them for all the ninja, because those look really great. And it's a nice way to do, like, the energized, powered-up version without going all out like they do with Energy or Airjitsu. You also see there's what the back torso print looks like with the armor on, but there's the design with it removed, and again, very, very detailed. And then Golden Kai was a part of Bricktober, which is a yearly Toys R Us promotion, where for 1 week in October they released minifigure sets that were free with purchases of like $50 or more, and this was a part of the Ninjago minifigure set released that year. So obviously this was not a wide release figure, you can only get him at Toys R Us for 1 week in October of 2017. However, despite that, this figure goes really hard. The design is largely based on his rebooted design, but they definitely made it more detailed. They pulled over some more of the buckles from the kimono robes and gave him leg printing because his golden design in Rebooted did not have them. Unfortunately, they did not give him a golden half mask because that would have been accurate to the show, but I think for some reason they can't produce golden half masks because to this day they've still not given us one. But they gave us the ZX armored hood to make him sort of match with Golden Lloyd, which I actually think is really cool. If we remove the hood though, you can see he actually also has an alternate face print, and this is more of an open mouth smile, and I actually think this expression fits Kai a lot better than this one does. And again, it's just cool to have multiple options, because now we have 3 smiling faces for original Kai, even if these 2 only finally came out when the original designs were being replaced. Still though, it looks really good, great one to get. And then if we turn him around, unfortunately no alternate face on him, would have been really great to get that. But there's what his back torso print looks like. You can see it's got his original symbol in gold right there. And I love the little bits of subtle gold detailing on it too. You can see it's gold printing on top of the gold brick. That's present on both the back and the front. And I think that just really adds to the overall look. Like, it's very subtle, but it really makes this figure feel like super high quality. This is one I usually keep on a shelf and never touch, just because I want to preserve it and keep it nice. So yeah, after this video is done, that's where it's going to go. But yeah, in my opinion, this is one of the best exclusive Ninjago figures we've ever gotten. And Hands of Time Kai is good, but once again, not the best Hands of Time suit. But now moving to the LEGO Ninjago movie, here are the first 4 Kai minifigures released under that line. We just have Kai's regular movie suit, his unmasked movie suit, casual Kai, and finally Kendo Kai. Obviously, the normal movie Kai and the unmasked movie Kai are very similar figures, the only difference is the mask versus the hair. Normally I wouldn't include both of these, but they were 2 distinctly different figures. They both came in multiple sets each, so I thought I probably should include both of them in this video. And movie Kai, once again, is good, but not one of my favorites. He's definitely one of the most bland-looking movie ninja. Not too big of a fan of how much black is used on this suit here. I think all the other black and red suits do it a lot better. The, like, subtle detailing on the legs is nice looking, but it feels like such a harsh transition from the legs to the torso. And then, yeah, obviously the black comes back on the hood and everything, but I don't know, the color scheme here, I don't vibe with it. He's got the word fire written on his torso in Ninjago, and then on his hood he's got the Ninjago letter H for, I guess, heat or hot. The Ninjago movie masks are actually my favorite ninja masks, but also some of my least favorites. Visually, they're my favorite. I think these look amazing. I like how they actually come up from the bottom, but I think for kids, for play, they're absolutely terrible. It's super obnoxious to have to take apart 3 pieces whenever you want to take the ninja's mask off, so it's better when the masks are just 1 piece, but I do really love how these look. And the all-new hairpiece for Kai, a lot of people hated when it came out. I think people have gotten used to it now. But I loved it from the beginning. I think it's just so fun and exaggerated. I look at it from the perspective of, like, Lego's not real. Like, it's not supposed to look 100% realistic. So go crazy with things like the hairpieces. Make them really fun. And I think this fits Kai's personality really well. I love how it leaves room for the band-aid and everything. Like, it does just look really good, and I love the level of detail here. I also prefer the hard plastic to the rubber Resolved hair. New face print too, it's double-sided here, you can see angry and happy. And I think this is one of the face prints that translates pretty well to the TV show Ninja. Obviously these figures were designed for their movie characterizations, but no, of course we're still getting these face prints for Kai to this day, and I think they work really well for his TV show counterpart. You've got like the happy, confident smirk, and like the angry, ready to fight. And then finally, Kai does actually have an actual scar on his face, which does appear in both the movie and the show after this. The Band-Aid too, I know a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of that. However, I don't know, I feel like it adds some personality to Kai. I personally don't mind it, and I think it looks good. Oh, and Movie Kai also uses the Skybound armor piece in Gunmetal Gray, which is cool and actually does look pretty good, just a little bit strange because none of the other ninja this wave use it. I guess it kind of makes sense because the double katanas are his weapon, but yeah, it definitely feels a little bit weird. There's Movie Kai with the armor removed though, and there's a look at his back torso print, as well as that alternate face with the hair removed. Now moving to Casual Kai, it was super exciting in 2017 to finally be getting casual versions of the ninja. This is something I'd wanted for years, and I'm really glad the movie finally introduced it for all of them. And Casual Kai, I do think, is probably the best one. He's in this full red outfit. I maybe wish his pants weren't red as well. It might be a little bit too much, but it's not a big deal and still does fit with everything. But what I really love here is the torso print. The jacket with the white shirt and everything is simple but effective, and then the arm printing is super nice. I believe this is the only Kai figure to ever get arm printing, but it's used really well here. It makes for just like a very high quality looking figure. Same face print and hair as on his normal design. But yeah, I think this is the first Kai suit that is my favorite of a suit line, so good job to the designers there. And then finally we have Movie Kendo Kai. The torso and legs underneath are the same as the normal movie suit, so I'm not going to bother taking the armor off. But obviously the armor and masks are recolors of the 2012 Kendo suits, and they look a lot better here. The metallic gold pops so much more than the white, and I love the red circle around the Kendo mask to represent that this is specifically Kai's Kendo suit. And actually I was wrong, I think I said this was Gunmetal Gray. It's not Gunmetal Gray, it's actually black here, but the black looks a lot better. I guess it just makes it feel a little more subtle. It feels more like proper armor this way than the bluish gray. And then there is one more thing about this figure, even though the torso and the legs are the same as everyone else, he does actually have a new face print here, where he's got this huge angry upside down smile. Now this one definitely is not show accurate at all, however it fits Movie Kai really well, and if you want an exaggerated expression for show Kai, this is really good, and I'm just happy we got so many expressions in one wave. Can you believe Kai had a total of 2 face prints from 2011 to 2016, and then in 2017 they introduced 4 all new heads for him, with a total of 6 different expressions? That is absolutely wild to me, but I'm glad they did finally do it. No alternate face on Kendo Kai, unfortunately, which would have been nice to see. But hey, I'll take 1 new expression over no new expressions. And yeah, I think that's about going to do it from the Movie Kais. Again, normal movie, not bad, but just not that exciting. Not a huge fan of how they did the color scheme, though. Casual Kai, actually really great. And Movie Kendo Kai, pretty good. Though I think this would probably look better if you took that armor and helmet and put it on the 2011 suits. Now moving to 2018 Sons of Garmadon, we have SOG Kai, Spinjitzu Master Kai. This, I guess, technically is a movie figure, not an SOG figure, but I'm including it here just because there's room in this section to talk about it, and it's not that exciting of a figure. I guess I'll talk about him first, though. He's got the white Wukru suit, which is a suit that all the ninja got. There's also a black Wukru suit, which Kai never got. However, that one's very easy to make with your own parts if you want, but since he's never technically come in a set, I did not include him in this video. And yeah, these are just sort of meant to be generic training suits for the movie ninja. Never appeared in the movie, never appeared in the show, but they are cool in concept, and I like what they are in theory. He does come with its armor too, which is interesting, and the robes honestly do look nice. They're just nothing special for Kai. I really like the Wu logo on them, though. Okay, but now moving on to the proper SOG figures. SOG Kai is my favorite SOG suit, my favorite Kai suit, my favorite Ninjago minifigure, and probably my favorite Lego minifigure of all time. This guy just looks so good. I love all the little intricate dots all over the torso and legs. The little streaks of bright orange look super nice, and the black here is used tastefully. They don't overdo it like they do in the movie suit, but the headband and the belt really pop in the best way possible, and the little black detail on the knees and everything. This looks really, really good. I think the orange detail and the dark red dots are really what solidifies it for me, but this figure just makes me genuinely happy. There's definitely more detailed, more interesting figures out there, but personally, this is the one I like the most. At least as of a couple of years ago. I haven't taken a look at all my minifigures and gone, which one do I like the most now? But yeah, if you ask me what my favorite minifigure is, this is probably what I'd say. He uses that same armor piece that he had in the movie. However, all the SOG suits except for Zane use it this wave, so it's cool to have that consistency. I also think the movie masks look a lot better recolored into this color scheme. And there is the mask and armor removed. Still that same movie face print. And back torso print, you see there's a little bit more of that orange, tons of those dark red dots, and there's actually a little bit of gray at the back, which you may expect me not to like, but no, I actually think that works pretty well. And that black belt continues around the bottom too. Genuinely just amazing all around figure, really, really well done. And then Spinjitzu Master Kai. If you've seen my other, every ninja minifigure videos, you will know I hate the Spinjitzu Master minifigures. I think they're some of the worst looking Ninjago minifigures of all time. And yeah, that's true, but Kai is probably the best one. It's either Kai or Lloyd. Those are the only, decent ones. And I guess Cole's okay too, but the other ones are all pretty bad. Kai, though, is still not perfect. He reuses these generic legs that all of them use, and these are also the legs that are used on the Black Wu Crew outfits. So the legs just feel very disjointed from the torso. And then the torso is these black and red robes with these flames coming out. And I mean, the metallic printing on the flames is kinda cool, but I think if they wanted to go for an elemental look, they should have leaned all the way in and did something like the Air Jitsu or Energy suits, because this just sort of seems half-baked. They also just reused the movie upper hood piece with the SOG lower hood piece, and that looks okay, I guess, but it doesn't look great. The red hands, though, is a cool touch. I believe this is the first time we ever got red hands for Kai. And then back torso print, you can see more of that metallic printing. Yeah, I mean, he's okay. I don't hate it like I do some of the other Spinjitzu Masters, but he's still definitely not good, and probably one of my least favorite Kai minifigures. But on the other hand, probably one of my favorite Spinjitzu Masters, So yeah, while these two aren't amazing, SOG Kai is genuinely fantastic, and every other minifigure this year could be garbage, and I would still like it overall because of this one. Luckily though, every minifigure this year is not garbage, because also in 2018 we had Season 9, Hunted, and Hunted Kai is, in my opinion, the best looking Hunted suit. They really capture the scrapped together, deserted feel of this suit, and obviously it uses the SOG suit as a base, so it has all those elements there that I like, but I love the chainmail running up the one side. The one ripped sleeve and the one armored sleeve is a really cool touch. And then the mask is actually an inverse of the Spinjitzu Masters masks. Well, I think I definitely prefer the SOG masks. This is still a nice differentiation, and I think fits the overall vibe of this suit really well. The only reason I think I don't like this one as much as the SOG suit is because it's not as universally useful. The SOG suit is just a normal ninja suit, while this one's more specifically he's deserted in the First Realm Scrapping Together suit. But that doesn't take away from the fact that this is an amazing minifigure all around, and I think it's super, super well done. There is the mask and armor removed, and there is back torso print as well as alternate face. Back torso print much more detailed than on SOG Kai. You can just see how all these different elements are scrapped together there. So creative and well done. I genuinely love this minifigure. And then Dragon Master Kai is okay. Another non-canon suit, and this was a part of a gimmick line. However, these gimmick sets cost $15 instead of $10. So I actually did not get this guy until very recently because I did not want to pay that much for gimmick sets. And yeah, I mean, this is better than Spinjitzu Master Kai, but not by much. I do like the overall look of him better. He's sort of in a pilot's outfit. The legs are shared between all of them, and I think that's the biggest weakness. The black legs just don't really fit with everything else. I like the sort of red scarf design on the torso though, and the pockets and everything though, not sure how I feel about all of that. Uses the same hood design from the SOG suit, and then turning him around you can see that scarf continues around the back, and he's got the Dragon Hunter logo on this yellowish gold right there. That's not metallic gold, that's just regular gold. But no, I mean, that is still cool to see. But yeah, certainly not my favorite figure. Step up from the Spinjitzu Master though, which I guess is a good thing. But now moving to 2019, we'll start with a very uncommon Kai minifigure. A lot of you might actually have not heard of this one, but we have this one right here. It's a Legacy Kai. This guy didn't really come in too many sets, and the ones they did come in were pretty hard to get. So I understand that a lot of people may not have this minifigure. And the Legacy suits certainly are not my favorite line of suits, and Kai is definitely one of my least favorites. I think the torso design is just sort of boring. The Golden Dragon's cool in concept, but I wish there was more going on, just sort of appears right here. The legs are really nice and detailed, and I like how the dragon looks in some of the other Legacy suits, but on Kai, it's not great. This was also the first introduction of this new mask piece. I don't like how they can't turn their heads in these masks, but I think the visual aesthetic of them is really good and is one of the best looking masks I've ever gotten. And it does fix the problem of the movie masks not being easily removable. But yeah, I mean, Legacy Kai is fine. It's cool to have such a rare minifigure in my collection, but it's not one I'm particularly fond of. Also in 2019, we had Season 11, Secrets of Forbidden Spinjitzu, and that wave introduced a total of 3 new Kai figures. We have just Season 11 Kai, I don't know the official name for this suit, FS Kai, and Spinjitzu Slam Kai. Regular Season 11 Kai I wasn't super hot on when it was first introduced. However, now that time's gone on, I think this might be my favorite Season 11 suit. I think they finally found the right shade of brown to use on Kai, or I guess it's more of a tan here. But the thing that they use on his knee pads and his little pockets on his chest, it looks really nice contrasted with everything else. And I think the dark red's all used very tastefully here, and I like the dark brown straps and everything on his torso. I think the leg print on this guy is especially the highlight, which apparently LEGO agreed with, because you'll see this is used a lot going forward. It's used on all 3 of these suits as well as 2 more next year. But no, it is really nice looking. With this new armor piece too that goes with the Legacy hood, it's not the best for holding weapons because it's pretty big and only holds 1 katana. However, the shoulder pad itself does look really nice with this whole like throwing star design. And I like that they add printing to the Legacy hood with the letter K symbol for Kai. Now you may notice the torso and legs on this guy are exactly the same as on FS Kai, and that's because the only difference on FS Kai is there's no armor piece, and he uses this new Forbidden Spinjitzu hood instead of the normal hood. This new Forbidden Spinjitzu hood is pretty good. You can see it's used on both of these figures, and it looks slightly better on the golden figure, and I think that's just because orange pops a lot better in gold than it does on red. But I actually think I might prefer the look of the normal hood, just because the red and the orange feels like a much smoother transition, and the light shining through is a bit more subtle. But no, the new FS hood is a really cool new piece, and I think it works really well on Kai. But if you remove that hood, you can see what the back torso print looks like, and you can see there's an all-new flame symbol right there, but other than that, it's pretty generic. Yeah, I mean, certainly not my favorite Kai suit of all time, but compared to the other Season 11 suits, yeah, definitely one of my favorites. And then Spinjitzu Slam Kai is honestly a strange one, because this represents Forbidden Spinjitzu, so I'm not sure what the point of these was, but hey, I'm not going to complain about getting exclusive figures, because they are very cool. The gold instead of the red is a nice difference for the hood, less accurate to the show, but it is another display option. I'm not sure how I feel about this gold energy crackling up his torso, just feels, I don't know, strange to me. I'm not sure exactly what it's meant to represent, but the gold arms do look good. I wish he got new leg printing though, because the gold effect does seem to sort of just cut off at the legs. However, the highlight of this figure for sure is the new face print on him. On one side of the face, he's got like this energy burst coming out of his eyes. Now that does look really cool. However, I wish the colors were a bit different, because it is mostly just like a yellow design, which doesn't really pop against the yellow head. I wish they went for more of like an orange or red to make it look more fiery. However, it's not bad, and it is a new expression for Kai, so I'm not going to complain about it. Something very interesting about this face print too is it's actually based on Kai's original design, not his redesign. Like if you take a look at the eyebrow shape and the notch in the one eyebrow, that matches the scar on original Kai, not redesigned Kai. Because redesigned Kai has the scar on the other side, but I guess his eyebrows are similarly shaped. So maybe it is the redesign, they just got the eyes flipped around. I'm not sure, but it's interesting that that actually matches original Kai better. So if you want to use that for original Kai, you can. However, the alternate face, perhaps even more exciting, is an all-new expression for movie Kai. This is just a closed mouth smile, and you also notice the band-aid is not included here. Personally, I've never minded the band-aid, I think it looks fine. I think it's a bit weird that this one does not have it. However, this is good for the people who don't like the band-aid, and regardless, it's a great new expression to get. This brings us up to a total of 4 unique expressions for movie Kai, which is really exciting because this is only the second year this design's been in use, and original Kai was stuck with pretty much one expression up until 2017. So it's great to see they introduced so many new expressions so quickly. Oh, back torso print too, very similar to the front. So yeah, on the whole, Season 11 Kai I actually do like quite a bit. Not the best Kai suit, but still pretty solid. And then these two are fun variants, but nothing all too special. Definitely really love the face prints on this one, though. Now moving to 2020, here are the first 3 Kai minifigures released that year. We have Digi-Kai and Avatar Kai from Prime Empire, and then a really interesting one. This is actually the only Kai figure that is not a Ninjago figure. This actually came in a LEGO Minecraft set because it is a LEGO Minecraft Kai. This is one of the coolest things that LEGO's ever done, and I'm surprised they never did anything like it again. But yeah, there was a Minecraft set that came out in 2020 that came with a Minecraft version of Kai. And you may notice the design of Minecraft Kai is very similar to SOG Kai, and you can see the overall design is very similar. There's the black headband on the top, this little gold emblem right here which matches this little orange symbol on SOG Kai's chest. There's obviously the dark red dots all over the torso, black belt at the bottom, and then like the one black stripe going down. It's not exactly perfect in translating SOG Kai into a more pixelated form, but it's very clear like this is the suit it's meant to be referencing. It's a bit strange that he has a dark red hood instead of a normal red hood. However, I don't mind that and I still think it looks good. And this is one of my favorite Ninjago and one of my favorite LEGO figures of all time. Not because it's especially detailed or anything, just because I love that it's an official Minecraft Ninjago crossover. I think that's just so fun, and it's just such a cool thing to have in my collection. Turning him around too, you can see once again the design is very similar to what you saw in SOG Kai. The symbol in the back this time around though is gold instead of gray, but it is still very clearly meant to be the same thing. Something else cool is obviously Minecraft Kai came out alongside the Prime Empire wave, and the Prime Empire wave was focused on video games and whatnot, so he fit in perfectly with the other 2 Kais we got. Digi-Kai is really good. I really like the look of the Digi-suits. The overall color scheme is really appealing and really unique compared to other ninja suits we've gotten. We've never really gotten white as a secondary color for all the ninja before this wave, but white and red is a really cool color combination, and I think Digi-Kai does a really good job of executing that here. The blue on him does add some nice detail. Not sure if it's the best color they could have chosen, but the blue is used across all the Digi-suits, not just on Kai, so it's meant to be a bit of consistency between all of them, but the white and the red especially does look really nice. He does, of course, also come with his health bar here, which attaches to the back of his armor. But there's how he looks with that removed. And then if we take off the hood piece, you can see Kai has an all-new face print with these digital eyes, but you can see he still has that same angry face from his movie design. Turning him around, though, we also have an all-new alternate face for Kai, and this, in my opinion, is one of the best Ninjago face prints we've ever gotten. This, like, scared or shocked expression is just so full of personality, and it's a great expression to have for Kai, and I really wish we got this for more of the ninja, because a lot of the alternate faces we get just stick to, like, happy and angry, so it's nice to get something else. And I think thanks to this face, Kai has the widest range of motion of any ninja, which I really appreciate, and I hope to see that for the rest of the cast in the future. Back torso print here is pretty good too. Again, same Prime Empire aesthetic that's on the front. The Prime Empire suits, you either love them or you hate them. Personally, I do really like them for what they are, but I think the highlight for sure is the white secondary color, but I would like to see that used in a suit that isn't the Prime Empire suit, because I think there's a lot of potential for that color scheme, but all the blue detailing does hold it back a little. And then we come to Avatar Kai, who is one of the gimmick suits from this wave, and this is again one of my favorite minifigures of all time. The detail here is sharp and effective. Kai's in sort of like a wrestler outfit similar to the red Shogun from Season 4. I like the red paint on his face too, I like how you can still see a scar through it. And the blonde hair looks amazing as well, that's a great recolor. I just love all the detail here. The expression on him's great too, it feels straight out of the show. And I do appreciate that they did give him a new face print here instead of just reusing the normal one. And then if I turn him around, you can see on the back he's got like this cold snake design which looks super good. And then removing his hairpiece, no alternate face unfortunately. Would have been nice to get, but because we got another new face for Kai this wave, I'm not complaining too much, because it is still nice to get 3 all new faces for Kai. But yeah, genuinely another one of my favorite minifigures of all time. So far for 2020, all 3 of these minifigures are incredible. Next, moving to Master of the Mountain, there was 2 Kai figures released this wave. We had Hero Kai and Spinjitzu Burst Kai. Hero Kai is probably my least favorite hero suit. There's a few good ideas here, but I don't know, in execution he doesn't look that great. I do like the hero hoods and armor, those are really good across all of the ninja. And gold does fit Kai pretty well, though it would have been cool to see him in silver instead, because as I talked about with Stone Armor Kai, he really never uses silver, but it does look really good with the red. However, I'm just really not a fan of this torso print. He's got like this giant lion design right there, and I guess it's meant to be sort of like a chest plate armor, but I don't know, that doesn't really work for me. It just seems a little bit awkward. And you can see he's got his normal Season 11 suit underneath that, so it's hard for me to see this as properly armored up. It almost feels sort of like a sticker slapped on there. So yeah, not the biggest fan of that. And then the leg piece on him is not new, it's the same as the Season 11 suit. These were also the legs used on Avatar Kai as well. So this is now the 5th figure to use these legs, and I think that definitely hurts it as well. I think better leg printing might make the suit look a little bit better, but yeah, by default it just doesn't interest me that much. There he is with his mask and armor removed though, and there's his back torso print and alternate face, and you can see the back torso print just has like the armor strapped to his back. Yeah, I mean, it's okay, but basic, not too special. And then Spinjitzu Burst Kai is interesting because obviously he's not canon in the show, only Cole had a Spinjitzu Burst, but we did get minifigures for Cole, Kai, and Lloyd. And I guess they went for a fully elemental design sort of similar to Energy and Energitsu. And I think with this figure they still didn't manage to capture that brilliance that Energy did, but it might be slightly better than Energitsu, and definitely better than Spinjitzu Masters. He just reuses the Legacy hood, which is a little lame, would have been cool to get something new there, but it does fit with the overall design at least, it doesn't feel out of place. The torso design I really love, it's dark red with bright red printing on top, and you can see it's got like this sort of lightning-esque fire effect crackling up. And especially around the back with the back torso print, he's got this giant dragon face right here. That looks super cool, like with the fire breathing out of its mouth. I really love that. Really love this all new face print too, with like the fire coming up by his eye in place of his scar. And like the angry face and everything. This is all really good. The only part I don't like about this guy is the leg print. This came out at the same time as his Legacy 2 figure, but these legs were clearly designed for his Legacy 2 figure, and they just don't really fit that much in my opinion. They're okay here, like they're not bad, but I think it definitely could have been designed better to actually show that like elemental effect that you see on the torso, also on the legs. Because like Energy and Energitsu do that just fine, where you can see the energy rippling from the torso into the legs. That just really isn't present here, and I think definitely hurts the entire figure. It is still a really cool look though, and does set itself apart from previous Elemental Burst figures, so I do overall still like this guy, but if you're looking for something that captures the same general aesthetic, it's been done better in the past. But now, finishing off 2020 and moving into 2021, here are the final 3 Kai figures released under the Ninjago Legacy line. We have Legacy 2 Kai, Versus Kai, and finally 10th Anniversary Legacy Golden Kai. Legacy 2 Kai I do like overall. The Legacy 2 suits are some of my favorite ninja suits of all time, but Kai I think is the weakest one. Not because he's bad per se, but I just don't feel like his colors pop as much as some of the others. I don't like how the folds on his shirt go weirdly low down his chest. That just seems a little bit awkward to me. It rises much higher in the other 3, but it does the same thing that the other ones do of combining the tournament and rebooted suits, and I do think the end result does look much better than the rebooted suits, but I think I still slightly prefer Kai's tournament suit to this one. Still though, it's a great new option if you don't have the original tournament suit, and seeing Kai's new hair with the half mask and everything is really cool. You can also see they brought back the symbol from his kimono suit with this one, and if you turn him around, that original symbol with a fire line is back. Which was very exciting seeing that return to the ninja suits, because we hadn't seen that in a while. Other than that though, no new face print or anything, and this is still a figure I really like. Just now that some time has passed and he's not brand new, I definitely prefer the other 3 Legacy 2 figures compared to this one. Now versus Kai, this is a non-canon suit that came in a gimmick set, and I wasn't expecting very much from it, but honestly, I love this minifigure. This is one of my favorite Kai suits. The overall look of this one is just so unique. I like the white tank top and the red pants. The red gloves too, I think, really tie it all together as well. But yeah, this really feels like a proper training suit that's like training for the purpose of training and not training for the purpose of elegance, if that makes any sense. Like the training suits from the movie, like the White Wu Crew suits, those are training suits but just because they all look nice and you can have all the ninja wearing them. This just feels like something Kai would wear when he's actually training himself, and I think they captured that look perfectly. The leg printing here is also surprisingly nice. The black belt looks so much better than things like the dark red belts over here. And I like a little bit of fire coming up the leg and the knee pads. And again, it's a little thing, but the sleeveless arms with the red hands pop a lot more than the black hands that he normally has. This was also the first introduction of his headband hairpiece, which is a really good part, maybe a little overused nowadays, but this was the first time we saw it, and I actually really like how that looks. And there's the back torso print on him too. It almost looks like the sleeves of this shirt were torn off. Yeah, I mean, you guys will have to let me know what you think in the comments, but I personally really love this one. And then 10th Anniversary Legacy Kai. I've covered this guy numerous times in the past because I've made multiple videos talking about the 10th Anniversary Golden Ninja. But I do think this one's one of my favorite ones just because it's simple yet effective. He obviously has the same overall design scheme as the rest of the ninja on the torso and legs. But of course they went all out when designing these figures. You can see there's subtle gold printing on top of the gold brick. He's got the same legs that the rest of them have, but honestly I think it fits him really well. The bronze works with the red and everything. There's this fiery detail coming up the side, and he's got this dark red robe underneath. And then he's got the Season 11/Legacy hood in gold and red. And I think that works really well, because this is immediately communicated as, yeah, this is Kai the Fire Ninja. On some of the other ones, they chose weirder suits so they're not as immediately recognizable, but this is immediately clear what it's supposed to be, and it looks really good. It's definitely the simplest of the 10th Anniversary Ninja suits, but simplicity is not always a bad thing, and personally here I think it works really well. There he is with his armor and mask removed, and there's his alternate face and back torso print. Back torso print just has that newer Kai K symbol, and more of that fiery design printed in gold just wrapping around the back. Yeah, as a whole, 3 of these super well done. Legacy 2 Kai may not be my favorite Legacy 2 suit, but I still really love that figure, and then these 2 are genuinely some of my favorites. Still in 2021, here are the 2 Season 14 Kai minifigures, where you have Island Kai and Scuba Kai. Island Kai I do feel a little let down by. The Island suits are a really nice suit line on the whole, but Kai I think is definitely the weakest. I don't know, I don't love the overall shaping of the robes with like these thin bits that cross over each other in the center. That just doesn't look great in my opinion. I also don't love where his symbol's located. The gold trim just feels really out of place with everything else. The dark red detailing is pretty nice, and I like the dark red arms too, but this reminds me a lot of the jungle suit where it really just doesn't pop that much for me. At the very least, it does have the gold here, but I don't think gold was the right color choice. If the gold was like a bright orange, I think I'd like a little bit more, but even still, I'm just not a fan of the overall shaping of this one. But you can see the headband hairpiece used again here, and this is used on a proper ninja suit, and I do think it works pretty well here. But there he is with his armor removed, and there's his back torso print, which honestly I think looks nicer than the front. The K symbol in the center works a lot better than like off to the side, and I like the shaping of the gold here. So yeah, maybe it isn't gold, maybe it is, I just don't really like the shaping on the front of this torso. Still not a bad figure by any means, just sort of bland in my opinion. And then Scuba Kai. This guy's not canon to the show, which is unfortunate because this is actually a really good one. I mentioned earlier in this video that I think silver looks great on Kai, and this is one of the few Kai suits that actually use silver, and to no surprise, it works really well. The bright orange too is a nice splash of color. That is on all the scuba suits. I kind of wish it was a little bit more orange and a little less yellow. That would look better, but would also make it less consistent with the other Seabound suits, so I get why it is the way it is. But no, like, I love the silver tanks and everything that connect to the top of the mask. It makes it feel like a proper suit that's actually, like, ready to go beneath the water. But I also like how a lot of design elements are brought over from his Season 11 suit. Like, you can see those little wraps around these dark red ropes. And then, of course, this is a scuba suit, so he has his flippers and this mask, as well as an oxygen tank around the back. But if you remove all of that, there's how he looks. And then taking a look at his back torso print, that's really good as well, honestly. Super detailed, like the zipper up the back, love all the silver printing. I know the scuba suits are probably like the least universally useful ninja suits, because these are the only ninja suits that really are not ninja at all. But man, this does look really good. Don't know if it's my favorite scuba suit, but it's definitely up there. It's very well done. And now finally moving to 2022, here are the first 2 Kai minifigures that came out earlier this year. We have Core Kai and Spinjitzu Core Kai. Core Kai is a very fresh take on Kai's color scheme. I really like the bright orange on the hood and on the one arm. Bright orange I think fits Kai really well, and obviously they've used it a little bit in the past, such as on the details on the SOG suit, but I've never really leaned into it this much, so it's cool to see it like on the actual plastic. It's also still present on the printing. You can see he's got like this fiery design running down the torso right here, and then he's got like this orangish tannish color for his legs, which does feel a little disjointed from the torso, especially when you look at this guy like from the back, but I think it works well enough. And it is very different, and as you just saw, we've gotten a million just like red Kai suits before, so it's cool to see them switch things up a little bit. My one real criticism with this figure is I don't like this one completely red arm on the side. I feel like I need more detail on the torso right here, for this arm to be a different color, or for the hand to be a different color, because the entire left side of this figure just looks really plain compared to the right side. Not a huge deal though, and you can definitely customize it to maybe make it a little more interesting, but just out of the box, that is my initial impression. Still using the Season 11 armor piece. And then back torso print has that fire wrap around the symbol in the middle, and that symbol is on all the core ninja, and it says the word ninja in Ninjargon. And then Spinjitzu Core Kai I actually like quite a bit. You can see he uses a recolored FS hood, and honestly, that is the highlight of this figure. I love how the bright orange hood looks with the red effect on it. Trans red and bright orange just go so well together, like wow, just look at that. But even aside from that, this is another one of those like elemental burst figures similar to Energy or Spinjitzu Master or Airjitsu. And the torso on this one is alright. I think it's going to a very similar vibe that Spinjitzu Master did, where it's just normal rows, but he's got like his element bursting out from the center. However, I think it does a much better job on the newer one as opposed to Spinjitzu Master. You can see there's that Kai case symbol in the middle with fire surrounding it, and it looks like it's actually sort of burning up his clothing, which is a cool touch. His legs are unfortunately reused from this guy. It would look better if they were all new legs, but I think they did the transition a little bit better here than they have on previous figures with reused legs. And then when we take the hood off, you can see he's got an all-new face print, which is this trans red head, and he's got this fiery effect around his face, these orange eyes, the scar's still there, and he's got this huge smile. Not sure if that expression fits Kai the best, but the face print is very cool looking, and I love the transparent red head. Turning him around, you can see he still has the ninja symbol on the back of his torso, once again engulfed in flames, and that might even actually look better than the front of the torso. I just love how it looks to see that covered in fire. Yeah, I mean, core figures are intentionally designed to be kind of basic, but I genuinely like both of these. So if they're going to continue to include these in sets for years, I really don't mind getting lots of these. I think they're definitely better than the Legacy 1 figures. And now moving to Season 15 Crystallized. 3 figures to go, starting with these two. We just have Kai's normal crystallized suit. I don't know if we have an official name for these suits yet, so I'm just going to call it Crystallized Kai. And then we have Golden Kai. These I have just reviewed very recently, both in my reviews of these sets and my Every Crystallized minifigure reviewed, but of course I am going to go over them again here. Crystallized Kai is good. He's not necessarily as striking as Zane and Cole from the same wave, but I think it's sort of become a trend for Kai suits to look a little bit generic, and that is what he does here. Luckily though, he has like those brownish, tannish elements from his Season 11 suit carried over here, and I think that's what really saves this suit, and sets it apart from things like his Island suit. Because the Island suit felt very monocolor with only red and dark red, but those little bits of brown really help the torso pop, and make this an all-around nice looking suit. Still definitely not one of my favorites of all time, but it's solid. And I like the little bits of metallic silver detailing on it too. The symbol on his hood's also very similar to his Season 11 hood, though now the symbol's in white, which I'm not sure why they made that change. White definitely does not look as good as like what the orange or gold that he used in the original, but that's a very easy fix if you want to swap that out. There's how he looks with the armor removed. And there's his back torso print and alternate face. Not a huge fan of the back torso print. It almost looks like he's in like a puffy jacket at the top right here, which doesn't fit the vibe I think this suit's going for. And also there's that symbol in white again, which just feels like such a disconnected color. White and red is a great color combination, but you need to use more than just this little bit of white. But the back torso print's going to be covered up by the armor most of the time anyway, so it's not a huge deal. And I think the figure is overall pretty good. And then Golden Kai is pretty great. Unlike the previous two Golden Kais, this is more golden armor on top of this suit. But it has a really cool look to it, and I like this golden armor much better than the Master of the Mountain golden armor. It's still a little bit weird. I'm not sure how I feel about the curvature of like this chest piece up here. Kind of wish it came down a little further. But the armor on the hips into the legs does look really nice. And obviously this is all printed metallically too. And I like the little tiny orange dots in the center of the gold just to add a little bit of texture. Again, not my favorite of the golden suits this wave, but also certainly not bad. And then his helmet's the same as the 10th anniversary Golden Kai. The only difference is now he's printing up there of the Ninjargon letter R, which I assume represents resistance. And there he is with the armor and hood removed. And there's back torso print as well as alternate face. Once again, I think I might like the back torso print on this guy better than the front. The shaping on that armor there I think looks a lot better, and I like the letter K being straight in the middle right there. So yeah, something I feel like I've been saying a lot in this video. Once again, two pretty decent minifigures, but definitely not my favorites of their collections. And now the final Kai minifigure for this video, and the final Kai minifigure that has been made as of 2022, we have Golden Dragon Kai. All of the Golden Dragon Ninja are some of the coolest minifigures of all time, and Golden Dragon Kai is no exception. He has a much different look to the other Golden Dragon Ninja, just because red interacts with the gold much differently, but it has a super nice look to it. For one, these are one of the nicest looking sets of wings. The red blended with the gold just creates a super cool look, and I think he has one of the best looking dragon hoods as well. Just the way that trans red comes out from the gold, it's so vibrant and striking, I really love that. The wings themselves are of course connected on blue Technic pins, which don't look great. However, most of the time you're looking at this guy from the front, so it's not a huge deal. Definitely would have been better if they recolored those to be like red or something instead though. Oh, and I like how this new armor piece is like very close to the neck. It doesn't come down too much, doesn't cover up too much of the torso. It really allows you to show off the full torso design, which I really appreciate. But now removing the wings and the mask, here is Golden Dragon Kai with everything removed. You can see he uses the same face as the core Spinjitzu Kai, and I assume this face was originally designed for this figure, but then they used it early for the core figure, but obviously this set released later, so we got this one later. But now you can see that full gold armor design on his torso, and I love that metallic printing. There's like a matte gold with a metallic gold printed on top of it. He's got that K symbol in the middle and the fire bursting out of the center. I don't think the gold armor on this guy looks as good as some of the other ones. However, I really love the transition from the torso into the transparent arms and legs. Because on some of the other ninjas, it's a lot more striking, but because red is such a dark color anyway, it feels almost more subtle. It's not super obvious where the dark red ends and the trans red begins. The only thing you know for sure is the center is dark red, and the ends are trans red. But yeah, it almost gives Kai a more opaque look than transparent, which I think just makes for such a cool minifigure, and I think this guy might finally be better than Energy Kai. Now that I've reviewed them both in such quick succession, I'm not sure if he's better, but he's definitely a much different looking figure, and I think they're both great options if you want like an Elemental Burst Kai. Super high quality though, super well done. Once again, not my favorite of the Dragon Ninja, but one I am very, very happy to have. Oh, and there's like his back torso print too, where he's got that K symbol again, but it's entirely made out of flame, which I really love. Yeah, all around great figure. And an excellent end to the collection in this video. But there you go, there was every single LEGO Ninjago Kai minifigure released from 2011 to 2022. That was a lot of figures. My voice hurts from talking about all that. I've been recording for about 3 hours at this point. Not sure how short that's going to edit down to, but this is probably going to be a pretty long video. Let me know in the comments which Kai figure was your favorite, which one was your least favorite. Personally, obviously my favorite is SOG Kai. Just love the overall look of that suit. And the least favorite has gotta be Spinjitzu Master, just because Spinjitzu Master is so bad. But not counting that one, because that's pretty much the worst suit for every ninja. I think Jungle or Island might be my least favorite. And neither one of those are especially bad, they're just sort of bland. And that is something I noticed with Kai in this video. In my reviews of like Jay and Zane, the figures were usually either like really, really good or not that great. But with Kai, it felt like back to back to back, so many of them were just okay. There was only a few that were like exceptionally good, but also only a few that were exceptionally bad. I feel like the design is intentionally trying to make Kai suits the most basic looking ninja suits, because he is like the face of Ninjago. So maybe that's why so many of them feel so samey. But yeah, that could be for better and for worse. But yeah, this video's been long enough, so I'm not going to continue on. As I said, let me know your favorite and least favorite in the comments below. Let me know what you thought of this video overall, and let me know which ninja do you want to see in every minifigure video on next. I already have Jay and Zane done if you want to go check those videos out, but let me know if you want to see Kai, Lloyd, or Nia next. But as for this video, I think that's about going to do it. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed, please press like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I do LEGO and Ninjago videos just like this one almost every day, so if you subscribe, you'll be the first to see them. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!